Hi guys, in today's gear review I want to talk about the Targets USA Swinger. In the different types of IPSC and USPSA matches, competitors are encountered more and more with a whole variety of different swingers. So we didn't have any swingers in the clubs that I train in. So initially we created our own swingers, but they didn't really meet our requirements. So we started looking for a commercial alternative, which we luckily found. We found a European distributor of Targets USA, and we were able to purchase a Targets USA swinger, which we have now for, I would say, almost a year. And we tested in both training as well as level 1 and even level 2 matches. And I'm going to discuss the pros and cons now. So what is included in the package? We have the actual arm, we have the swinger arm with the weight and the protection for the bearing. We have the actual arm in which we have to mount the sticks to attach our different IPSC and USPSA targets in front of it. We have 2 legs and we have 2 feet to make sure that the swinger is stable on the floor and operates correctly. Everything fits nicely into this sports bag, and all in the bag as is right now weighs approximately 30 kilograms. One of the other pros is that we are actually faced with quality steel, a quality mechanism that is easy to maintain, and in the entire year that we have been using the Targets USA swinger, we never had any issues with the actual swinger itself. The only thing that you need to pay attention to is that the bearing has enough grease. One of the big benefits is that depending on how you place the weight as well as the arm on a higher or lower position, it will actually increase or decrease the speed of the swinger. So you can actually go from a really fast swinger to a relatively slow swinger that you can engage either on the top arch or at one of the sides. I already mentioned different pros. Now I want to go into the different cons related to the Targets USA swinger. First and foremost, I do have to mention that this is not a cheap swinger. This is actually the price that I paid for it in the online shop, which if you look at the production cost versus the purchase cost, there's a big gap in between it, but again, that's a choice that we made ourselves. As I already mentioned before, the box doesn't come with any tools, so you have to use your own tools to screw in the different nuts and bolts, which I think is also a disadvantage, because here we have the regular nuts and bolts, for which you actually need tools that you need to bring with you, because otherwise you cannot mount or dismount the Targets USA swinger. It would be much better if, for example, Targets USA would add heavy duty and large butterfly nuts that you can just screw on there without requiring any tools. Another big con for us was the fact that this is actually the original arm in which you have to mount the sticks to attach the target on, which can be easily done with these nuts, which at first glance looks great, but the problem is that you can only mount either USPSA targets or the official IPSC targets, the 100% targets, on these sticks to make sure that the targets are fixed onto the wood and that it doesn't fly off in the movement left to right. If you want to use a 60% IPSC target, you can see that it doesn't fit. You can only attach it to one arm, which is a big disadvantage, because if you use the swinger like this, the card, certainly once you shoot at it several times, actually starts moving around, which doesn't provide the same target picture to the competitors. How did we solve the issue of the arm that is only meant for USPSA targets and IPSC targets? Well, one of the IPSC members of my club, who is very handy and can weld very well, actually made a separate arm in which we can have the sticks for the IPSC targets, but also we have the sticks for the IPSC mini targets, which gives us much more flexibility depending on whether or not we want to use the large IPSC targets or the 60% mini targets, which gives us much more flexibility. One of the cons for the Targets USA swinger is the fact that the swinger itself, when you purchase it, does not come with an activator arm nor some kind of chain or steel wire like we have here. So we had to build our own that we use to actually attach either to the wall or to a popper to actually activate the swinger once the popper is shut down. The Targets USA swinger is 96 centimeters long. The height up to the modified arm is 81 centimeters. To include the sticks, it's 135 centimeters, and the width is actually 60 centimeters. After using the Targets USA swinger for more than a year, the end conclusion, considering the pros and cons, is still very positive.